All right, welcome back. Tonight, we're not just breaking down a game, we're essentially opening a case file. The subject? A really high-stakes Champions League match between FC Copenhagen and Bayer Leverkusen. Now, on the surface, this one looks pretty simple, but trust me, the evidence points to a fragile favorite and a story that's got a few twists. So, let's get into it. But hey, before we start digging through the clues, we could really use your help on the investigation. You know the drill. Subscribing, liking, commenting. It all helps us piece together more cases just like this one. And for the inside scoop, you can join our team over on Telegram. We've got free betting slips and analysis over there. Your support is everything. Now, let's get to the evidence. So, our first piece of evidence is the matchup itself. The market has already delivered a verdict, but is it the right one? Let's take a closer look at our suspects.
At first glance, this seems pretty open and shut. You've got FC Copenhagen, who are, a real force in the Danish Superliga. But they're going up against a powerhouse from the German Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen. That jump in the level of competition, that's exactly why most people are pointing in one direction.
And you can see exactly how that plays out in what the market is thinking. The betting odds have pretty much declared Leverkusen the favorite, giving them a 45% chance to win, even on the road. Copenhagen's the underdog here at 30%, with a draw sitting at 25%. A simple conclusion, right? Case closed? Well, if it were really that simple, we wouldn't be here. A team status as a favorite can be, well, deceiving. Our investigation suggests that this favorability is, shall we say, fragile, and the evidence is telling us we need to look much, much closer. Let's move on to our first major clue. This is a really fascinating tactical puzzle that's sitting right in the middle of the pitch. We're calling it the midfield vacuum. Okay, so what is a midfield vacuum? The key here is that both teams have the exact same problem. It's what happens when the central part of the field just lacks any real control. And in this match, it's because both teams are missing the one guy who basically runs the show for them. So this game, it's probably not going to be a tactical chess match. No, you should expect chaos, fast breaks, and just end-to-end action. And here they are, the missing persons at the heart of our mystery. For Copenhagen, it's Magnus Mattsson. He's their creative engine, the spark plug for their attack. At the exact same time, Leverkusen is missing Exequiel Palacios, their defensive anchor, the shield that protects their back four. So one team loses its key, and the other loses its lock. This creates, the perfect storm for a totally unpredictable and wide-open game. So, with that tactical picture getting a little clearer, it's time to dust for fingerprints in the data. You know, numbers don't lie, and they often point directly to some hidden weaknesses. Our main line of questioning is this. If Leverkusen is such a big favorite, where are the cracks in the armor? Well, the data gives us a very specific and honestly a pretty startling answer. And here it is, Exhibit A, negative 1.8. This number is all about Leverkusen's goalkeeper, Mark Flecken. What this means is, based on how difficult the shots he's faced have been, he's let in almost 2 goals more than an average keeper would have. That's not just a statistic, folks. That's a massive red flag pointing to a serious, serious vulnerability. And this isn't just a fluke, a one-time issue. The data shows Leverkusen gives up 2 goals per game on average. But here's the kicker. The quality of the chances they give up suggests that number should be way closer to 1.3. That big gap confirms this isn't just bad luck. It's a consistent underperformance in goal, and it's turning decent chances for their opponents into actual goals. But our investigation can't stop with just the numbers. To really get this case, we have to look at the psychological evidence, that immense pressure cooker of fan emotion. Listen to this. This quote was pulled right from a Copenhagen fan forum after they had a really bitter loss to their biggest rivals. This isn't just disappointment you're hearing. This is what you'd call a reactionary demand. The fans aren't just hoping for a win. They are demanding it as redemption. That puts an incredible amount of pressure on the home team. So what you have are 2 completely different psychological states. The Copenhagen camp is a powder keg of this reactionary demand, which could, fuel an incredible performance, or it could cause them to completely crumble under the weight of it all. Meanwhile, the Leverkusen fan base is feeling what you'd call cautious optimism. They're confident, but they know it's a challenge. One side is desperate, the other is stable. That emotional imbalance is a huge factor in this case. So, how does this all fit together? We've gathered the tactical clues, we've looked at these statistical fingerprints, and we've examined the psychological profiles. Now we can put all this evidence together to build a profile of the game itself.
When you put it all together, the evidence points to one very specific kind of game. A really high tempo with fast transitions, all because of that midfield vacuum we talked about. A serious lack of control in the middle of the park, a high chance of individual mistakes thanks to the pressure on Copenhagen and those defensive issues for Leverkusen, and all of this leads to one thing, a really high potential for goals.
Okay, we've examined the evidence from every possible angle. It's time to close the case file and deliver our final analysis. Based on everything we've uncovered, what is the most likely outcome here?
Our analysis points to 4 key takeaways. First, with both teams having those defensive issues and some real attacking potential, expect the total goals to be over 2.5. Second, because of that, it's highly likely that both teams are going to score. Third, despite being a fragile favorite, Leverkusen's overall quality should probably be enough for them to get the win. And finally, the wide-open, attacking nature of the game suggests the total corners will probably go over 9.5.
And as always, a final, very important note. This analysis is just for informational purposes, okay? It is not investment advice. Please be smart and gamble responsibly. We've shown that Leverkusen is the favorite, but they're a fragile one. The real question is, will their talent be enough to cover up their flaws? Or will all the pressure and chaos of the night finally expose the cracks in their armor? Case closed.